Are you too friendly with your children? Actually, it's quite a serious question because it's been raised by a very serious and important influence on us, and that is the Children's Commissioner, Dame Rachel de Souza, who says, and I quote exactly, "You are not supposed to be your child's friend. Sometimes being the parent means making difficult decisions and that you need to give them love, understanding, support and boundaries." But I wonder whether you agree with this. Maybe you feel that you are too friendly with your children. Maybe your children are your best friend and you love it that way. Maybe boundaries are what it's all about, discipline, and you cannot be a parent and a friend at the same time. 0207 862 2222, that's the number. Do give us a ring about this. I mean, you know, I think possibly when you come from a certain generation, your parents were so disciplinarian to you that you don't want to do the same to your own children. You remember how you felt about your parents and you want to be friends with your kids. And then hearing the Children's Commissioner, JJ, say, not a good idea, you know, you're not there to be a friend, you're there to be a parent. Suddenly you think, oh no, I've done this all wrong.
Well, she's making it sound as if you can't be both. Like with my son, I want to be his best friend. I want him to feel he can come and talk to me about things. When he starts dating girls, I want him to come and say to me, "Dad, I've got this issue." I want to be able to have that open conversation about everything, and him not to be afraid of making mistakes and telling me. But he understands. Oh, that's me.
Oh, there he is. Oh, he's divine.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we go out for dinners together. We'll go and have a nice steak together. And he understands when I say to him, "It's bedtime now." He knows it's bedtime. It's possible to be your kid's best friend, but also to make decisions that they're going to dislike. And that's, I think, what we should all be doing.
Well, my kids are my best friends.
I know they
and
are,
I totally
I've seen Lizzie
disagree.
on the tiles with her boys on many thousands of occasions, millions of occasions, and they're having a belting time. I mean,
they're having a great time. They come out with me. They go on holiday with me, and you know, in fact,
here they are. Look at them.
In fact, they are like the parents. They're like the parents to me because they say, "Mum, time to go to bed." And what?
It's a Safi and Adina thing, isn't it?
It is like,
with you.
No, I mean Bruno Tonioli says it's absolutely fabulous because they're always saying, "Mum, what are you wearing? Go back and check." No, you can't wear that. We can see through your top.
One of your sons did your bikini shots for you.
Yeah, James used to do all my bikini shots. The same.
Look at JJ's got his head in his hands.
Liz Hurley's son does the same for her. And James used to always say, "Mum."
Oh, here you are with James.
Yeah, there's James.
Divine.
And he said, "Mum, look, do that pose is far better." And he was my, holiday photographer. And there's nothing wrong with it. I love the fact that my best friends, and they can tell me anything, and I tell them anything.
Vanessa, you and your daughters are like best friends. I would see you guys out all the time, and I know Saskia hates me saying this, but you're like sisters.
Do you think so?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. She's the spitting image of you.
Well, I never did any discipline at all, really. No. I wasn't really a disciplinarian. I always thought they're so gorgeous, they'll probably just do the right thing. And I also thought if I was kind of, I know this sounds so soppy. When I think about it now, I'm not quite sure how I could have thought this, but I just thought, well, if I'm just loving and nice to them, then they'll be loving and nice back. And I also felt that, the world is a cruel and difficult place. And there'll be plenty of other people out there ready to be horrible to you. And it shouldn't be your mum.
Yeah.
That kind of a thing. However, I was very firm on smoking. No smoking.
Yeah.
I was a bit more of a waverer on unsuitable people staying, fellas staying the night. I thought I was taking a stand. I probably didn't really. But I wasn't much of a taker of stands. I just kind of hoped that they'd be generally kind of amenable, hardworking, decent. Well, I think they're absolutely great. But so I suppose I blurred it terribly, the friend and mother thing. You're right.
I know, but I once put my boy on the naughty step, and I walked past, saw his little bottom lip going. I couldn't bear it. I was like, no, come off.
He was 21 years old.
Yeah, he was 21. But, I was very liberal, and I wanted to know if there were girls going to stay. I would say, look, they'd always tell me. I didn't want them sneaking behind my back. Yeah. Like, my father was so strict. So was mine. And I used to hide everything. I didn't want that sort of relationship with
once
my
creeping
boys.
out the door on a Friday night, and obviously in a Jewish family, that's unforgivable because it's Sabbath, you're not meant to be doing that. So I waited and waited until I could wait no longer. Obviously, I had an assignation of a romantic kind planned in the West End, and I had to get out of the family house in Totteridge, N20, which is miles away, and then the wrong end of the Northern Line. And I waited until there was complete silence, and I was creeping down the stairs. You know when you're creeping down with your shoes in your hand, that thing, a key in the other, just creeping down, and suddenly the light went on. My father strode out, and I was just caught absolutely red-handed, absolutely rabbit in the headlights on the stairs, and I never heard the end of it. And you know how old I was? I think I was about 21 or something. I wasn't 14. You know, I was an adult. But my God, was I in trouble? And I suppose I didn't want that.
I know,
You with
it's
my kids.
dreadful. And I remember my dad coming home early from work and I had a boy back at the house.
Oh,
and I
no.
remember thinking panic. And I opened the door, said, Dad, the neighbour wants to talk to you. Really? Get him out, trying to get this boy out the back door, couldn't find the key. And, you know, got caught red-handed.
But was it the making of us to have these strict parents, you see? Was it a good thing?
Well, no, because my mum then was so, let me get murdered, so I don't think so, really. But no, and I think I'm so grateful for my boys, and they're the kindest, sweetest boys. And so I've done something right.
Well, that's thanks to the dad, isn't it?
Well, I don't know, there's another show.
Let's go to Robin, who's on the line in Gloucestershire. Robin, tell me about being your child's friend or parent, or JJ seems to think you can be both. Can you?
I think you can be both, but also my biological mother wasn't or couldn't be there for me. It was like going constantly to an empty well. She was taken in by, I'm a war baby, so she was, father got Oklahoma GI. But I mean, the woman that took my mother in was an absolute dragon, an absolute enemy. It's taken me years to undo the damage. But my foster mother, I had 3, but the third one, when I was 10, saw me. And she was the first person to make me feel of any value. It was so healing. And she valued me enough, and it helped me value others. So it's about respect, I think. It's the biggest thing for me.
You certainly went through the mill with all those different carers and mothers and foster mothers. My goodness, I think it's amazing you're even standing and able to have a coherent conversation after that sort of turbulent childhood, Robin. My goodness. How are you doing now?
Sorry?
How are you doing now after all of that?
I've never been happier. It's taken work. And a few crap therapists and a few good ones. But, no, I mean, it's taken a long time, but I actually can say I've never been happier, but it has been work. Yeah.
Well, that's exactly the answer I was most hoping for, but didn't think you were going to give. So I'm so pleased that you're at a really good place now. Thank you so much for calling. It's been really great to talk to you.